Ladies and gents, it has been quite a long time since I've actually made a video. I think since the recording of my last one, it was the Jimmy Butler trade, which we all know the Jimmy Butler trade has now been going on for a month and a half, maybe. There you go, 50 days since I made my last video. And a lot has happened since. My inconsistency is absolutely awful. I apologise dearly. I've had a lot of stuff go on in the last month or so. I've started studying again. Trying to make my money on the side is also, if anyone knows anything about life, it is a hell of a thing at this age. And yeah, just trying to keep the consistency of this whole thing is proving quite difficult, to be honest. The motivation plays a part as well, obviously. And it is really difficult at times to keep ahead of this sort of schedule and try and get videos out to you guys as much as possible. I am trying. Trust me, I love doing this. I love getting the videos out to you guys and you guys will watch the videos. But it is hard for me doing everything that I'm doing, plus getting videos out to you guys. Because I like them to be good videos. I like to try and edit them as much as I can. Have the chop outs in the videos. It's basically, I make the video now and I have to rewatch the whole video and make chops and changes. And I just want it to be the best product for you guys. And for me to do that, it takes a little extra time. Thankfully today I actually have some extra time, so I thought I may as well, while I've got the motivation, get a new video out to you guys. Basically discuss everything that's going on. The top thing in my conversations today is not actually basketball related. I mean, it is basketball because it's LeBron James, but it's LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. For the last week on my timeline, I've just seen them going back and forth against each other. I've seen Bronny chime in over Twitter. For arguably the greatest basketball player ever to be in a beef with one of the best basketball broadcasters ever is just hilarious to me. It's great, to be honest. I'll touch on that. I'm going to touch on what's going on around the league. As we all know, there's like 10, 15 games left until playoff time. And playoff time, I'm really going to lock in. I'm going to get videos out, hopefully every single playoff day. So playoffs, as anyone probably knows, it is going to be a lot easier for me to watch playoff games, keep track of playoff games compared to regular season games, because realistically at this point in the season, other than if maybe there's a big upset which changes the seeding, like the Bulls today. Actually, while I'm here, shout out Josh Giddey, Australian, hit a half quarter to sink the Lakers. It was possibly the most wild 10 seconds of basketball I've seen in quite a while. I literally probably flicked this game on with about 3 minutes left, and I've seen Josh Giddey airball a floater, by the way. Kobe White hits a three. Patrick Williams hits a three. And Josh Giddey gets the ball, runs up the court, and hits a half quarter to sink the Lakers. Like, it was just absolute scenes at the United Center. It was ridiculous. And just like going off that, it was absolutely insane. But other than that, like games like that where there's a bit of a, Cinderella that sort of beats, a top team and it's going to change seeding for the playoffs, that sort of thing, I'm not really too fussed about it. By the end of the season, I will try and talk about some of the disappointments of the season, some of the upsided teams of the season, places like that. But for right now, it is really just the awkward period of the last 10 games pushing through to the playoffs. There's a lot of games at the moment where I'm not getting any screen time for. Like today, the game where the Pacers dropped 160 points in regulation against the Wizards. I'm not, at this point in the year, putting that on my TV, to be completely honest. A lot of good stuff going on. The Warriors, Steph's been out for the last few games, and it's hurt us. We haven't been able to do anything without Steph on the court. Jimmy Butler, in his return to Miami, was possibly the most passive return I expected to see out of Jimmy. I expected Jimmy to really be an X factor, really play ultra aggressive, get to the rim, score the ball, just be playoff Jimmy for a game to attack his former side, show Pat Riley why he did what he did. But none of that happened. And we lost to a game where Andrew Wiggins scored 10 points and Bam put on a bit of a masterclass against Draymond Green, who's got a case for Defensive Player of the Year this year. So it was really weird. Upsided teams, the OKC Thunder continue to win games. Like, they're up to 61 wins now. I think they can't break 70 wins, but they're going to be pretty close. Like, they're going to get 66, 67 sort of wins in a year with a team that's so young is absolutely ridiculous. They've played consistently all year. Shea has consistently just dominated team after team after team. I think I saw a stat the other day that it's like his 60th straight 20-point game, which to me is absurd. It's not quite as absurd as LeBron's 18-year-long streak of 10-plus points, but 60-plus games of 20 is like, because 20 points for 90% of NBA players is a good game. And for Shea to be able to do it 65 or so games in a row is absurd. He's been absolutely consistent all season. The meme of him saying my whole life consistent, whatever. It's showing. He's been the most consistent player in basketball this year, arguably against Nikola Jokic, who we know is the next runner-up for MVP this year. I will get a video out in the next week or so talking about who I have as my final picks. We know I put a video out at the start of the year. Who my picks for all these awards are. Pretty sure I made Luka my MVP this year. Just thinking back on the video. I will have to rewatch that video and compare the pair of like who I picked at the start of the year compared to who's going to win it. Like, most of the awards at the moment are locked away, other than maybe Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year was locked up by Wemby until he went down, and now it's between Draymond and Evan Mobley, in my personal opinion. Other than that, all the other awards are pretty much locked down to me. Like, Rookie of the Year, I'm giving it to Stephon Castle. Has been playing ridiculous, even after De'Aaron Fox and Victor both went out. He has taken that role on, and he's staying competitive in most games that he's playing. Other things around the association, the Bucks, there is a lot of question marks about the Milwaukee Bucks at the moment. They are playing great basketball one night, bad basketball the next night, and their offense, defense, everything in between is just completely inconsistent. They really don't know what they're doing on a basketball court, it looks like, at some points in the game. In the game against the Warriors, where we had no Steph Curry because of resting, Gary Payton sat on Damian Lillard, and as soon as Giannis couldn't get Gary Payton off Damian Lillard on a ball screen, their offense was completely out of wraps. There was possessions where they'd hit the corner man, whether that be Taurean Prince or Gary Trent Jr., airball, missed shots, you name it. Draymond Green, defensive masterclass on Giannis. As soon as somebody sat on Giannis, they didn't really know where to go. As soon as Giannis doesn't know where to go, and as soon as Damian Lillard doesn't know where to go, their offense blows up. They swing to corners. They just do whatever they feel is going to bail them out for a bucket, and majority of times it doesn't. So their clutch time offense is looking really bad at the moment, considering they have Damian Lillard, which we all know Damian Lillard is one of those, like, go out and get a bucket guys in the league. There's very few of them. Other teams going around the association, we've got the Kings are starting to play decent basketball. The Chicago Bulls are playing really good basketball. I don't know what's going on. Josh Giddey is firing all cylinders, having a triple-double like most nights, it seems, at the moment. Kobe White is an offensive powerhouse. Nikola Vucevic is just being that solid center that they've had for the last 5 or so years. The Houston Rockets are still playing really good basketball. I'm keeping track of the Houston Rockets most nights because for a time I think we were pressing them for playoff seeding. But I think they've since run away from us in that aspect. They are playing freakishly good basketball. Jalen Green is one of the best players in the West at the moment. Fred VanVleet's just that solid guy for them. They're all just playing really solid. Alperen Sengun, I saw he had a putback layup about a week or so ago. Detroit basketball is another thing that I sort of wanted to touch on. Detroit is playing freakishly good basketball. Cade Cunningham, freakishly good basketball player. They're cruising. Malik Beasley, I can't give enough props to Malik Beasley. He's played ridiculous basketball this year. I always knew how good of a shooter Malik Beasley was. It was just whether he could translate into a system. He's bounced around from all the bigger teams like the Lakers. It didn't work out there. The Bucks kind of sold out because Gary Trent Jr. and Malik Beasley, to me, are like the exact same player. They decided to swap them for whatever reason. He's now at Detroit. He's now loving life. Dennis Schroeder, who had a month with the Warriors, is playing good basketball over there. Don't know what it is. He just prefers the situation, I guess. There's just a lot of teams around the association starting to peak at the right time. The 76ers is really a team that I want to touch on. It was a team that I wanted to touch on a couple of months ago, but it has now been said. Paul George has been shut down for the rest of the year. Joel Embiid got shut down about a month ago now. He's not seeing the floor for the rest of the year. Tyrese Maxey, I mean, he's still young. He's not going to carry them to enough wins to get them in any sort of seeding. It has been a really, really disappointing year for the 76ers. They just haven't had anything going whatsoever. From early starts, Joel Embiid was just inconsistent with his playing time. Paul George as well missed a few weeks at the start of the year, come back and then seemed to go out again. It was really it was hard to watch. It was a hard year. They're going to come back next year. Hopefully organise it. I mean, at the end of the day, it all realistically to me boils down to Joel Embiid's health and how good Joel Embiid looks on the basketball court. In the games that Joel played this year, he still didn't look like a great basketballer. He didn't look like he was in his rhythm. He was just diving his head at the ring, trying to get free throws and get his offense through his free throws. Whereas we know that Joel Embiid that won the MVP, he would get the mid-range. He would hit a three-point shot. He would give you literally anything on the offensive side of the ball that you needed. But this year, every time I seemed to watch Joel Embiid, he just was trying to hunt free throws and get his offense at the line, which hurt the 76ers, and they have had one of the least productive years they've had in a very long time. They're going to go from crashing out in the second round every year to this year they're not even going to make the playoffs. Awful year from the 76ers, to be completely honest. Quentin Grimes is their shining light. He's shooting the absolute hell out of the ball at the moment. It's insane to watch. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around with teams all around the association, but the one thing that I really want to touch on at the moment is this LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith beef. I don't know what's going on, where it came from, why it's happened. The conversation on the sidelines between LeBron and Stephen A. happened weeks ago. I thought it was a past memory. We weren't seeing it anymore. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing LeBron James on the Pat McAfee show talking, excuse my language, shit about Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. coming back saying he's a liar, he's this and that. Bronny James going on Twitter posting videos of Stephen A. Smith in boxing gloves, and after Stephen A. has said that he would swing on LeBron in the middle of a basketball. It's insane, man. I don't understand why we feel the need to be doing this. The Lakers are playing good basketball. LeBron, just lock in on the playoffs, bro. We don't need you to be proving yourself to Stephen A. Smith. He's just... As much as I love and honestly inspired by Stephen A. Smith and everything that he's done for the game of basketball in his voice and his broadcasting and everything around that, stop. LeBron's a multi-billionaire. Stephen A. is more than comfortable with himself. I have absolutely no doubts. But what are we doing? I don't need to be opening my Twitter to Bronny James telling Stephen A. that he's capping and watching videos of the Stephen A. Smith show of him saying that he's going to swing on LeBron, and LeBron James going on the Pat McAfee show and basically just exposing LeBron. And then I see something else this morning saying it's Stephen A. Smith apologizing after he's gone on First Take and said that LeBron James wasn't at Kobe's memorial. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's just like, it's just some basketball comedy for the end of the season. It's going to get me, hopefully, to the playoffs now. It's going to keep going until the end of the season, but hopefully LeBron just stops with all of it. I understand where LeBron's coming from. If, I was sitting up here and saying, talking dirt on some player, I would expect them to come back at me. To be doing this at this point in the year, and Stephen A. Smith, he's going to milk the absolute everything out of it. He's going to milk it like a cow because LeBron, you're one of the biggest names in the world, and Stephen A. knows that. And every single bit of business that Stephen A. can get where his name is in the same sentence as LeBron James, he's going to continue to do so. So, I don't know. It's hilarious. There's so much to go on with it, but I just thought I'd touch on it because I think it's hilarious. It's a bit of funny comedic basketball. And yeah, it's a bit slow for basketball at the moment, other than the build-up to the playoffs. That's basically everything I've had today. Just touch on a lot of teams, see sort of where they're going in the progress. I'm going to get the consistency back for the playoffs time. I'm not a good YouTuber. I had an absolute horrendous run with the playoffs last year. I think I only published like 5 videos throughout the whole playoffs. So I'm going to get that back to where it was. Stat line of the day, so I think I've done 3 of them this year. It was an idea that I had that I never really executed on, but I'm going to get a couple more out by the end of the year, do a couple of shorts on award winners, playoff series, etc. But yeah, I'm going to get these videos back to you guys as quickly as possible. That's about it. That's all I have for today. If you guys can do all the comment, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, it'll be great for me. The channel is actually slowly growing, and I appreciate you guys for that. I'm actually getting good views on the channel, and it motivates me to make more of these videos, get more content to you guys, and all of that stuff. And hopefully I'll see you guys very soon. I'll make another video in the coming days. Hopefully there's some good news around somewhere in basketball, and I'll get onto it. March Madness is going on at the moment. Not a big college basketball guy. Watch clips here and there, but not really enough to touch on it too much. So I'll sort of stay out of the March Madness scene and leave it to the experts. And I will see you guys in the next couple of days, hopefully when I release another video. Thank you, guys.